The same great team and service that you've always known, Ace Hardware Home Services, serving Hickory in the Catawba Valley area since 1990.
Hello, this is the WHKY News for Thursday, September 19th. Ralph Mangum with you. The WHKY News is on over-the-air television every weekday on channel 14.2. We are also available at WHKY.com and on our YouTube channel. In today's top stories, 67-year-old Frank Lynn Moody of Connolly Springs Road in Lenoir has been arrested by Lenoir police on felony counts of larceny of a motor vehicle, injuring wires and fixtures of utility companies, and assault with a deadly weapon inflicting serious injury. During the late night hours on September 18th, Lenoir police took a call regarding a Spectrum service vehicle, a boom truck, that was stolen while a utility worker was actively servicing lines on the 2400 block of Morganton Boulevard. The offender, Frank Lynn Moody, entered the vehicle and began to drive off while the utility worker remained in the aerial basket. Moody traveled a short distance before striking an overhanging utility line, which caused a utility pole to break. The vehicle continued for a short distance before coming to a stop off the roadway. During the incident, the utility worker fell from the basket and sustained non-life-threatening injuries. As a result, a large area of Caldwell County experienced significant utility outages. At last report, crews from various utility entities continued to work to restore services as quickly as possible. Lenoir police took Moody into custody without incident. He was jailed in the Caldwell County Detention Center with bond set at $100,000 secured. No court dates are currently listed. The incident remains under investigation. Anyone with information should call Lenoir Police 828-757-2100 or leave an anonymous tip with Lenoir Caldwell County Crime Stoppers 828-758-8300. Unfortunately, we have 3 traffic fatalities to tell you about. WHKY's Arianna Mack has details on the first of those 3.
The North Carolina State Highway Patrol is investigating a fatal incident that occurred early Wednesday in Alexander County. The deceased is 39-year-old Vanessa Shea Lale of Granite Falls. At about 12:30 a.m. Wednesday, the Highway Patrol responded to the scene of an accident on Eichard Ridge Road near Bethlehem School Road. A 1996 Chevrolet Monte Carlo driven by Miss Lale was northbound on Eichard Ridge Road when the driver lost control, crossed the center line, drove off the left side of the road, struck a ditch, and overturned. Miss Lale was transported by EMS to Fry Regional Medical Center in Hickory, where she succumbed to her injuries. The initial investigation indicates excessive speed to be the contributing circumstance in the collision. During the on-scene investigation, Eichard Ridge Road was closed in the area for approximately 2 hours. I'm Arianna Mack for WHKY.
Thank you, Arianna. An Alexander County man was killed in a crash in Catawba County. The deceased is 52-year-old Gregory Edward Gilfillan of Taylorsville. At about 5:50 Wednesday evening, the Highway Patrol responded to St. Peter's Church Road near Springs Road. A 2005 Chevy Colorado was northbound on St. Peter's Church Road when the driver, Gregory Edward Gilfillan, crossed the center line, drove off the left side of the road and struck a fence post. The vehicle then re-entered the roadway, ran off the right side of the road, struck landscaping material in a yard, and collided with a tree. Mr. Gilfillan passed away at the scene. The initial investigation indicates that speed and impairment were not contributing factors. During the on-scene investigation, St. Peter's Church Road was closed in the area for about 3 hours. At about 9:10 this morning, the Highway Patrol responded to a fatal collision in Caldwell County on Old Morganton Road Southwest near US 64. The deceased is 48-year-old Henry Lee Tester of Lenoir. The accident occurred as a 2022 Chevy Silverado eastbound on Old Morganton Road Southwest struck a bicyclist exiting the Gamewell Park parking lot. The bicyclist, Henry Lee Tester, was not wearing any reflective clothing or a helmet. Mr. Tester was ejected from the bicycle and passed away at the scene. The driver of the Chevrolet, a 51-year-old Candler man, was not injured. The initial investigation does not indicate impairment or speed to be contributing factors. During the investigation, the roadway was closed in the area for 2 hours. No charges will be filed. Our condolences to the families and loved ones of Mr. Gilfillan, Ms. Lale, and Mr. Tester. District Attorney Scott Riley stopped by the WHKY studios today. Rob Eastwood and the DA discussed the latest from the DA's office.
And joining us as he does each month is District Attorney Scott Riley, who represents the 36th Prosecutorial District. that is Catawba, Burke, and Caldwell counties. Welcome to our studio, and it's good to see you again.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
You wanted to talk about some cases in Burke County.
Right, sometimes I neglect talking about our cases in Burke County, but our priorities are exactly the same. Child sex offense cases, drug trafficking, the people that are bringing large amounts of fentanyl or drugs into our counties, which is just devastating to our community. But we've had a number of jury trials in Burke County in the last couple of months. The first one I want to talk about was Larry Epley. This was a child sex offense case. He was convicted by a Burke County jury a couple weeks ago of 2 counts of statutory rape. Unfortunately, the victim was his own biological granddaughter, and she was very courageous, came in and testified. She testified that the abuse against her began when she was just 9 years old, and the jury heard her story, and Mr. Epley was convicted of 2 counts of statutory rape, and he received the maximum sentence. He received a sentence of 50 to 70 years in the Department of Corrections.
Okay.
And then secondly, a case that had a little bit more attention was the case of Aaron Murching. Mm-hmm. He was a second grade school teacher from Burke County. He was convicted, or he just pled guilty last week to several cases involving sex crimes against his own students. It's very, very unfortunate, but the case against him actually started when he was actually charged with second-degree exploitation of a minor, which is basically having child porn on his computer. And that had nothing to do with his work or duties at the school. But because of that news report, an 8-year-old child came out, heard that, and spoke to his parents and said, "Mr. Murching did bad things to me." So that sparked an investigation. Other victims came forward, and he was charged and convicted of several sexual crimes against students, and received a sentence of up to 46 years in the Department of Corrections.
So I know you stay busy not just in Catawba County, but in Caldwell and Burke as well, and this is an example right here. 2 very high-profile cases.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it, and we look forward to talking to you again next month.
Thank you very much for having me, Rob.
Scott Riley, the District Attorney for the 36th Prosecutorial District, that is Catawba, Burke, and Caldwell counties, and he joins us each month here on WHKY News.
Thank you, Rob, and thanks to Scott Riley, who is always very generous with his time. Absentee ballots will be sent on Friday to military voters and citizens living outside the United States who requested them, marking the official start of the 2024 general election in North Carolina, following a court decision 2 weeks ago requiring 2.9 million prepared ballots to be reprinted. The 100 county boards of elections, with the help of state board staff and printing vendors, succeeded in printing new ballots ahead of the September 21st federal deadline to send ballots to voters. You can read more at WHKY.com. During heavy rains on September 17th, the city of Newton experienced a discharge of an estimated 4,125 gallons of untreated wastewater at 1369 McKay Road, adjacent to the Clark Creek wastewater plant. An estimated 2,000 gallons entered Clark Creek in the Catawba River Basin. No negative effects on water quality or the surrounding environment were observed. State Water Resources representatives were notified of the discharge on September 17th. For more information, contact Dusty Wentz, City of Newton Director of Public Utilities. That's 828-695-4286. In today's crime report, I have a Hickory man arrested on kidnapping and assault charges. Arianna has an Alexander County sex offender, and Rob has a fleeing to elude arrest in Statesville. In local sports, Jason Savage has high school volleyball and soccer, a look at upcoming high school football games, and Lenoir men's soccer results. In community focus, Arianna reports from the Waldensian Heritage Museum, and Rob has information on seasonal flu shots. We were right around 80 degrees this afternoon under mostly sunny skies. We'll make it into the mid-80s tomorrow and through the weekend with no more than a 25% chance of rain at any point. Next week, we'll be in the upper 70s for most of the week with a chance of rain ranging from 25 to 60%. A current weather forecast is always available at WHKY.com. I'm Ralph Mangum. You're watching the WHKY News.